Well, New Hampshire changed the game in the Democratic race in 2008. After coming in third place in Iowa, Hillary Clinton came back to beat then-Senator Barack Obama in New Hampshire. Now, David Axelrod, a former senior advisor to President Obama, says candidates can't take anything for granted in the Granite State. So does Clinton have any hope for a repeat performance? Here to weigh in is Fox News contributor and former congressman and presidential candidate Dennis Kucinich. Nice to see you this morning, sir.
Hi.
So let's just start with this. You know, the polls are all saying that Sanders is ahead. We can take a look at that right now. Sanders at 53.9%, Clinton at 40%, and the Real Clear Politics New Hampshire average of polls right now. Can we see Hillary Clinton come back to take New Hampshire tonight? Does she have a chance?
I think it's unlikely. One of the matters that has to be decided is, will the people in New Hampshire who are consistently independent voters, will they vote in the Democratic primary? If they do, that helps Bernie Sanders. If they go to the Republicans, that might cut Bernie Sanders' margin. At this point, I think the race belongs to Sanders. The real question is going to be what the margin is. There have been some polls that have suggested Sanders has 31 points, a 31-point lead. I don't believe those polls. I think that it's quite likely to be closer, but the closer it is to, let's say, 10 points, that will tell the tale as to whether or not Hillary Clinton has reignited her campaign in New Hampshire.
Well, you mentioned independence and how important the undeclared, essentially the undeclared vote is in this. So let's take a look at the breakdown of voters in New Hampshire. Republicans are 30%, Democrats 26%, independents 44%. And you mentioned that it really depends on which way these independents vote, because they can essentially show up for either primary and make a decision tonight. What do you expect?
Well, I think that Donald Trump has brought a lot more people into this election contest. And it's quite likely that some may go in there for him. I think that it's no surprise to say that Donald Trump is expected to win the Republican primary. The question on the Republican side is who's going to run second. I think the independent vote, though, and how it's breaking is going to be one of the stories of the night. No question about it.
Well, some analysts have said that what could essentially happen is independent voters could think, all right, you know, Sanders already has this on the Democratic side, so we're going to show up and vote for Donald Trump. What would happen what could happen to Sanders? And if he doesn't come out on top here, what happens to his campaign?
Well, any scenario you look at, Bernie Sanders wins New Hampshire. However, if allowing further discussion, if his campaign did not succeed in New Hampshire, it would be seen at this point in the peculiar game of expectations as an upset. And it would be very difficult for his campaign from that point. But I think he'll probably win New Hampshire. Watch the margin. If it's more than 20 points, Hillary Clinton comes out of New Hampshire with some problems. If it's less than 10 points, it's a good solid win for Sanders, but the difficulties he will have in South Carolina and Nevada could be evident.
Well, we will certainly be looking at those margins that you mentioned tonight. Nice to see you, former U.S. Congressman and presidential candidate Dennis Kucinich. Abby?
Thank you.